sea and everything was deep water, then whoever was recording this had to be under the water looking up at the crafts of God hovering over the water. Now, in order for these beings to be writing, recording, and being underwater, they had to be either in a marine craft, some type of craft that can go underwater and create a sphere for living, or they were reptilians. And then the Bible, Genesis chapter 3, verse 1, calls him Nachash and says he's a serpent. Speaks about a reptilian man. And they call him Leviathan, the serpent. And serpents or reptilians are aquatic and live under water. Then you go back to all the other cultures in the world. This is what I'm talking about where Jesus and them may record it. If you go back to Samaria, you found Dagon. You go back to find Onan amongst the Native Americans. Who is it? The fish man. We have mermaids and mermaids that they've got the bodies of, but they tell you it's a myth. There are people on the planet now that still grow scales. They got a name for the disease. There are people that grow full webs. They have a name for the disease. There are people that are born underwater and can breathe. They got a name for it. It becomes a disease or disease rather than a confession. That man is linked to reptilians. That man is breathing water. That man once had gills. That man lived inside of a sac, which is actually an egg called what they call it, the pouch in the woman's embryonic fluid. They lived in an egg in there. You lived in an egg like a snake in your mother. Now, when that eggshell broke, called a water sac, you came out, and that's when your body transformed like a metamorphosis of a caterpillar to a butterfly to become what you are now. But still, today, you're breathing water. And if you don't have water in your environment, you dehydrate and you die. You follow? So you're not the kind of lizard that can live in the desert. You're the kind of lizard that has to be near water. You dig what I'm saying? You may not like it. And your descendants were a composite of Enlil and Enki, and they have the same thing in Egyptology. Ra comes out of the primordial egg, out of the water, out of the chaotic waters, right? So now if you go back to Egypt and you want to be an Egyptian, you're going to be admitting that you have something to do with beings that were called fishmen.
1999 Dead Festival. Come join us for the most memorable experience of your life at Tamaray, Egypt of the West. Enjoy 9 fun-filled days from June 24th until July 4th. Bring the whole family and see why they don't want you to visit this beautiful recreational village park, where everywhere you look, there's a smile. Here at Tamaray, Egypt of the West, you'll find a variety of refreshments, including ice cream, cool drinks, cotton candy, burgers, and fries. Or bring your own picnic basket. Feel free to walk the spiritual labyrinth and see reenactments of ancient Egyptian ceremonies in a drug, alcohol-free, and safe environment for the whole family. There'll be fireworks, music, live entertainment, and parades in a carnival atmosphere with plenty of free parking. If you can't make the festival in June, come on out anytime for a tour. Located right off of Highway 142 in Putnam County at 404 Shady Dell Road, Eatonton, Georgia. For more information and free brochure, call 706-484-0098.
If you go back to Samaria, you're going to have to admit that you're going to go back. If you go back to Nubia, if you go back to the Yoruba, Ogun, you're going to be back. If you go back to Voodoo, you have sea gods. That you had a relationship with beings that came out of the sea that gave you these webs between your fingers. And like I said many times, if it wasn't for a simple word called grooming, and you saw what you really look like without shaving, washing, or cutting nails and all the stuff, you'd be a grossed out creature that would scare every person. You never cut your toenails or nails or washed up or put on deodorant or never shaved. Think of what you look like. Never combed your hair, never brushed your teeth. You follow that? And every day when you get up, in order for you to rejuvenate yourself, you dive in the water. They call the source of your reproduction reproduction, semen. Seamen. You could say, that's not the same word, Doc. Yes, it is. It's just that when the Caucasian plays the phonetic game with you, it's all right. It's all right for them to say UFON. The hell is UFON? Say UFO. Oh, they see, instead of them saying UFO, because UFO is a confession that I really don't know what I'm looking at, and it makes me look stupid, what they do is turn it to a noun and say UFON, never new organization. Now, none of them want to be UFO researchers now. Now they're UFON researchers. Now that's a phonetic alteration. It's cool when he does it. It's cool when the Freemasons take three words from, or 3 parts of a word out of the Bible and put them together and say Jebelun. Goma, Uz, and Daba, wisdom, strength, and beauty, and then say it means God. Then it's okay. But when I do it, you say, see how you like to play with words? When I say manifestation, or man is the most infestation the planet's ever had, that's not just a perverted word, that's also a damn reality. Man is infesting the planet, ripping up the soil, poisoning the water, eating animals, and now poisoning and giving himself deadly diseases. Manifestation. Those are realities. You might not like the way they sound, but they're realities. If you don't want to believe what I'm saying, and please don't, just go investigate it. Why? Why won't you? Because you're too lazy or you're too afraid to find the truth. You don't want to go and find out that your whole Christianity was bullshit. There's a 2,000-year spell. Now we walk around saying, why we ain't got nothing? Because nobody else who has anything had Christianity. Say, well, the Chinese are doing good, they were Buddhists. The Japanese, they were Buddhists. And the gods that they worship look like them. Say, well, some Christians make it, yeah. White Christians make it, because the God they're looking at. And as long as you got a God that looks like other than you cannot instill dignity, pride, and honor, and nobility, and greatness in yourself or your kind. And you will never get nowhere. You'll always be saying, how come we don't got nothing? Yes, man, you got it again. Oh, he got to go. You can finish. Go ahead.
I just want to know is Silent Arena.
Say that again.
Silent. Am I pronouncing it right? Silent Arena.
Sol and arena. So yeah, for the word solar comes from.
Is that Apsu and Tiamat together?
No. You're dealing with different explosions. That's why in the book I said not the Big Bang, a Big Bang. There's a concession of Big Bangs when it collapses. See, first it explodes out, then it collapses, and then as it explodes again, pieces break off, and each one of these things collapse and explode. So you have triads of deities which were named. They were ruled. Sol and Arena ruled that's why I said there was Om was a planet, a part of a planet that was inhabitable. It wasn't a sun at the time. It was a planet. Just like this planet, when it catches on fire, and as it begins to consume itself, what will it become? A sun. You follow? And then they'll say the planet Earth, where Earthlings once lived. But I'm saying, but when they see it, they'll see a massive ball until it burns out. Well, the time it takes to burn out is making this big decision. Because when you look up at our sun, we're looking at it as being around for a long time. But when you base it on the fact that there are other suns 1,000 times bigger than it, this is a very short time y'all got to be here. And it is burning out. And it will eventually be gone. They say in 1 million years, so that don't mean much to you as an individual. But if the world did exist for 1 million years, people would wait at that millionth year, the sun goes boom, they'd be like, oh. And that happened before. That's why the Bible keeps saying replenish, replenish. That's why they want a selected few. They don't want everybody to say 144,000 is not a lot of people. No, they're not. But if you look around this room, there's a bunch of different genes in this room. They are selecting a certain amount of people to take out of here, to take to crafts. The rest of the people here are going to catch hell unless they've learned to transform themselves. You know what I'm saying? Other than that, they can forget. Unless they become spirit beings where they can re-inherit bodies, they can forget it because physical is going to be gone. You follow that? And those other beings are going to come back once this planet has been replenished, and they're going to reseed the earth. This is a reoccurring event. And it's done because man is becoming more and more God. Until man is worthy to go back, until you're worthy to go back to Cyrus and eventually Risk. Because the first stop out of Risk was Siptu. And that was still in the 19th galaxy, which is Sirius star, and connects into this one called Sahu or Sept. Sahu is Orion, sorry. Called Sept in Egyptian. Was still twisted in this one. Then they left there